Someone once convinced the ruler of hell to give back a human soul, then lost her forever because he couldn't resist one look back. This is Orpheus, and I promise you, his story will absolutely wreck you emotionally. Listen, we've all lost someone we love, right? But imagine losing them on what should be the happiest day of your life. That's exactly what happened to Orpheus. And I'm telling you, what he did next will make you question everything you think you know about love. Orpheus wasn't just any musician. This guy had power that would blow your mind. When he played his lyre, and I mean this literally, rivers would stop flowing just to listen. Wild lions would lie down next to deer like they were best friends. Stones would roll themselves closer because they were desperate to hear his melodies. You know how we talk about music moving us? Well, his music literally moved mountains. Trees would rip their roots out of the ground and actually walk to wherever he was playing. But you know what? All that incredible power meant nothing without the one person who made his world complete. That was Eurydice, this beautiful nymph whose laugh was so pure it could compete with his music for making people feel joy. When they got married, nature itself celebrated. Flowers bloomed out of season just to honor them. Birds sang in perfect harmony, and I swear, the very air sparkled with happiness. Now here's where your heart is gonna break, and I'm sorry in advance. On their wedding day, their freaking wedding day, Eurydice was dancing through a meadow, her white dress flowing like she was made of moonlight itself. She was so happy, so full of life. And then she stepped on a snake. One tiny step, one venomous bite. Just like that, she was gone. Can you imagine? 1 second you're watching the love of your life spinning with pure joy. The next second, she's dying in your arms and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Most of us would fall apart, right? We'd grieve, we'd rage, maybe eventually we'd try to pick up the pieces and move on. But not Orpheus. This man looked at death itself and said, "No, I'm not accepting this." He decided to do something that literally no human being had ever attempted before. He was going to march straight into hell and demand his wife back. Think about that for a second. How desperate would you have to be to voluntarily walk into the realm of the dead? How much would you have to love someone to risk your own soul for them?
Picture him walking through landscapes that get darker and more twisted with every step, clutching his lyre like it's his lifeline. And the song he's playing, oh God, this song. It's not just music, it's pure heartbreak given voice. It's every I love you he never got to say, every future they'll never have, every dream that died with her. The melody is so devastating, it could literally crack stone hearts. When he reaches the river Styx, that's the boundary between life and death, even Charon the ferryman starts crying. This is a guy who's been ferrying dead souls for thousands of years. And Orpheus's music breaks him completely. He doesn't even ask for payment, just rows him across those black waters while the most heartbreaking song ever created echoes across the realm of the dead.
But here's where things get absolutely incredible, and I need you to really picture this. As Orpheus walks through hell itself, something happens that has never happened before in the history of existence. The eternal punishments stop. Tantalus, who's been desperately reaching for fruit and water for centuries, suddenly finds peace and stops his endless grasping. Sisyphus's boulder, the one he's been pushing up that mountain forever, just stays at the top, because even a rock can't resist this music. The Furies, these creatures made of pure vengeance and hatred, start weeping like children. Do you understand what's happening here? Hell itself, hell is being moved to compassion by the power of one man's love for his wife.
When Orpheus finally stands before Hades and Persephone on their throne of darkness, he doesn't beg or threaten or demand, he just plays. And the song he plays tells their entire love story. Every stolen glance when they first met, every shared laugh that made them feel like they were the only two people in the world, every gentle touch, every perfect moment of happiness, and then the soul-crushing loss. He plays their love so purely, so completely, that Persephone, who knows exactly what it's like to be torn away from everything you love, starts sobbing. And Hades, the ruler of the dead, who's supposed to be beyond all human emotion, actually feels his heart crack open. "Take her," Hades says, and you can hear the tears in his voice. "But there's one condition." And here it comes, because there's always a catch when you're dealing with death, isn't there?
"You can lead Eurydice back to the world of the living, but you cannot, and I mean cannot, look back at her until you've both reached the surface. Not once, not even a glance. If you turn around before you're both standing in sunlight, she comes back to me forever." Can you even imagine accepting those terms? Picture yourself in that situation. The person you love more than your own life is supposedly following behind you, but you can't see them, can't touch them, can't even confirm they're really there. It's like being asked to have faith in something when your entire world has already been shattered once. But what choice does he have? So Orpheus agrees and begins the most agonizing journey any human being has ever taken.
He's walking through these dark tunnels leading up from hell, playing softly to guide Eurydice, straining his ears for any sound that might be her footsteps. With every single step, the temptation grows stronger. Is she really there? What if this is just some cruel joke the gods are playing on him? What if she's struggling behind him and needs help? The shadows keep playing tricks on him, making him think he sees her out of the corner of his eye. The journey feels endless. His fingers are bleeding from playing so long, but he doesn't dare stop because the music is literally the only connection he has to her. It's their lifeline across the boundary between life and death. And then, finally, he sees it, a tiny dot of sunlight ahead, the entrance back to the world of the living. His heart starts racing with hope and absolute terror because they're so close now, so incredibly close to having everything back.
But this is where the human heart shows us its most devastating weakness. Just steps away from success, just moments from getting his entire world back, Orpheus starts thinking, what if she's not really there? What if I'm walking alone and this has all been some horrible dream? The doubt becomes unbearable. You know that feeling, don't you? When anxiety and fear start whispering in your ear, making you question everything. The need to see her, to know for sure, becomes stronger than his willpower. And in that moment, that crucial, heart-destroying moment, he turns around. And there she is. Eurydice, more beautiful than he remembered, reaching out to him with a smile full of love and relief. For one perfect second, they see each other, and it's like their hearts sing in harmony.
But then she starts to fade. "Farewell," she whispers, and there's no anger in her voice, just infinite sadness and love. She understands. She forgives him, even as she dissolves like morning mist in his desperate hands. Orpheus tries to follow her back down, but the entrance to the underworld slams shut. He's broken the one rule, failed at the exact moment of triumph. He spends the rest of his life wandering the earth, playing songs so heartbreaking that they make the entire world cry, calling out her name until the day he dies. Here's what kills me about this story, and what I think will get to you too. Was it love that made him turn around, or was it doubt? Was he so overwhelmed with joy that he forgot the rule, or was he just not strong enough to take those final steps on faith alone? Maybe that's what makes this myth so devastating and so human. We've all been there, haven't we? So close to something we desperately want that we end up sabotaging ourselves. That moment when our fears become louder than our hopes.
This isn't just a story about death and loss. It's about how love can give us the strength to attempt the impossible, but also make us vulnerable to our own human weaknesses. It's about the terrible fragility of hope, and how sometimes the very thing we're afraid of losing is exactly what we lose because we're afraid. What would you have done in that tunnel? Could you have taken those final steps without looking back? Could you have had that much faith when everything you loved was hanging in the balance? If this story broke your heart the way it broke mine, hit that like button and subscribe, because there are so many more myths out there that will make you feel everything about love, loss, and what it really means to be human.